Guys, we always have a choice. We always have a choice. And mediocrity and excellence are both choices. No matter how you cut it up, we are not destined to be mediocre. What we are destined for, if you'll pardon the pun, what we are destined for is to embrace our destiny. So we're all set out. I think I've talked about this in one of the previous videos. We're all set out on a certain path, we are predestined for a certain something. What is in our free will, what is in our power, is to embrace that destiny. So our choice is whether or not we are going to abide our destiny or not. Basically, mediocrity essentially comes from when we run from what we're meant to do. It comes from not an easier way to think about it that you probably hear it said more often is not mediocrity is not embracing our full potential. And what not embracing our full potential precisely is not embracing the fullness of our destiny. This is what nobody talks about. This is the correlation that nobody's making. Your potential is your destiny, and your destiny is your potential. Everything in the world that you can do is the consummation of everything that is possible for that plays into that predestination, that thing that you were put on this earth to do. And we start talking about purpose and whatnot, and I think I've talked about that a lot of that in the past, some of the past videos. But guys, like it's a really a simple concept, and I don't know how much I can talk about it. I don't know how much elaboration there is. It's choices. It's choices, guys. Everything is choices. What we become, it's like literally our destiny, to use that word again, maybe a little loosely, but or not so loosely. Our very lives, like every outcome in our lives, are determined. Or every outcome is determined by the choices that we make. It's choices. It's just choices. Like there's no real magic trick here. The magic, honestly, the magic is in the moment. The magic is in the work that we do, and that's the choice. The magic is in our choices. I will talk sometimes about how magic is real. It is. Like we hear magic and we think that's not real. Sleight of hand and card tricks. That's not magic. Well, in a way, there's a funny argument that can be made that it is, and it's a reflection of kind of the possibility and the potential of the universe. But magic is real, and it's in our actions. Magic is what we do right now. Magic is like the fact that we have a fucking life, and the sheer impossibility that we do, and that we even can get up and go and like literally do anything. Do you hear that? That it's the choices. The magic is the choices. The magic is the very fact that we have the ability to make the choice. Like, you have to put it in perspective. It's crazy. And perspective is one of my favorite words, one of my favorite phenomena to talk about and to live by. It's in our perspective. It's in the way we see things. And the way that you see things, your perspective, the lens through which you see this life, will determine the choices that you make. And that's why it's so important. I mean, it's really, I do always delineate this from this. And so for me, I pointed here first because it's an easy way to think about it, right? The mind, right? But for me, it's your heart. This is the seat of truth. And I just want to point that out, that it's always about following this. This is its own conversation. I think this is more something that needs to be tamed. This is just the thing. Like, you don't tame this. You just let this go. You just let this speak to you. And ultimately, like, yeah, but that's just like a kind of like, I like to always kind of put that out there as sort of a footnote, because I do believe in two different forces of the mind and the heart, and that they do their own things. But the bottom line is it's in the choices that we make, guys. And it's that the reason I pointed up here is because mindset, it's the lens through which we see life. It's how we see things. And see, I think that the reason I talk about the heart is because I think if you're in line with your heart, if you're truly hearing your heart, then that will change the lens through which you see life. Like, if you're in touch with yourself, if you, as it goes, know thyself, if you know yourself truly, you will see the world differently. Your lens will what's the word, I don't know, it'll change a little bit. Like, I can't think of the exact word I'm looking for, but like it'll it's like fitting a contact lens, like for like for each, respectively, for how each person needs to see. Like you need to mold that lens, that perspective into what it needs to become. And a lot of that has to do with getting inside of here and out of here. But anyway, the point being, like, that's all something of a technical footnote to talking about mindset. And it's mindset, guys. It's just, it's what we believe. It's how we see. Like, there's another saying that floats around out there that I love, that kind of a couple different ways to say it, but basically that it starts with your thoughts. That your destiny is a product of your actions, and basically your actions are a product of your thoughts. So it starts with thoughts. It starts with belief. What you believe, you act upon, and what you act upon becomes your outcomes, becomes your entire destiny. So it's choices, right? That's what I'm getting at. It's choices. The choices we make influence our very destiny. What is it that influences our choices? Our mindset, our beliefs, our thought process, any way you like to call it. And that's why I pointed up here again, right? But again, like, when you understand this, this becomes a lot clearer. So choices start with mindset, guys. Choices start with the way we believe, and that's why wisdom and perspective are so vitally important. But all this to come full circle and talk about, excellence is a choice. So is mediocrity. You're not destined to be mediocre. You're not fated. Like I mentioned, we are fated for a certain something in this life. Like, we have a purpose, we have a destiny in that sense, but you're not fated. Where you're free is to control your actions in the pursuit of that destiny. You can do anything in the world is the point. Like, so it becomes semantics almost, right? So when you talk about, like, destiny and fate, sometimes it can be a little bit semantic. Like, there's kind of different connotations, like associations with that word, but it's just it's as simple as understanding that there's something that you were destined for. It's to take that word out of usage here. There's something that you were meant to do. There is a purpose, a divine purpose for your life, for all of our lives, and it is up to us to harness it to its fullest potential. I think that goes back to what I said earlier in this video, what I was talking about, that the truest form of our free will is what we do to manifest our destiny, what we do to manifest our purpose. So it's choices. Like, we absolutely decide at the end of the day. We just have to be very aware. And going back to this voice here, we have to be very aware of this and what it's telling us, right? So that's why I was talking about this. When you hear this, it will tell you how to act. It will tell you the choices to make. And that is a little bit, I said I didn't know how much I could elaborate on it. I guess that's about the extent of it, because it has a lot to do with listening to this. When you understand the voice of truth inside of you, when you can kind of see the light, when you have that sight beyond sight that I talk about, your choices become a lot clearer. They just do. That's not something I can really verbalize to you. That's an intrinsic, that's an introspective pursuit, an introspective understanding. But when you hear the voice of your heart, when you hear the voice of truth inside of you, your choices become a lot clearer. A lot of us are going wrong because we just don't know who we are. Know thyself, right? Well, we just don't a lot of times, and that's why, knowing who you truly are is not a point up for compromise. It can't be. There are some things in life that can be compromised. There are some things that absolutely cannot be, and that's one of them. You cannot compromise. It starts with knowing who you are, and when you do that, the choices become easy, because then you know what you got to do. You know what you're going for. You know that purpose, right? So then it's just a matter of fulfilling it, and it's just a matter of making the right decisions on that path to do so. That's about as simple as it is, guys. And we were not put here for mediocrity. That's the only thing I can really stress anymore. Like, we were not put here for mediocrity. We were put here to do great things. Guys, there is a God inside every single one of us. There is a little God inside every single one of us, and it's just those of us who can find it and harness it, who history remembers, who the world remembers, who change the world, who do things worth emulating. It's every great that's ever come. Why? Why do we remember them? Because they're great. Because the choices they made led them to their greatness, and we have to do the same. So mediocrity and excellence are both a choice, guys. Embrace the power of your free will and use it the right way. You can be great. It's a matter of choice. Truly Spartan.